well. Good evening, listeners. How are you? Hoping you having a wonderful Monday like I am. And I just wanted to just welcome you to Casting the Net Mondays with Coach Rice, where we dive deep into the topics that are most important to your mental health and well-being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, your professional certified life and health coach and trained mental health counselor coming on to you this evening. I have a special guest who I am honored to interview today. His name is Clifford Starks. UFC fighter and martial arts Hall of Famer, has mastered the art of turning pressure into fuel for greatness. He's now a professional business consultant who helps leaders elevate their performance and transform their ambition into lasting impact. So today we're going to be talking about unlocking your inner warrior. I like that title because he come from, you know, fighting to now the ring. He's doing it in the boardroom.
Yes,
Clifford,
yes.
tell us about this awesome journey of yours from the ring to the boardroom, because now you're consulting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, I will say there's a saying, every master was once a disaster. So I was a disaster in wrestling, I was a disaster in fighting, and I was a disaster in business. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. But what I learned over and over and over again, that the one thing that stops us from getting where we want to go is this thing right here, our head, every single
Yeah,
time.
thoughts.
Uh, and it's like, wow, it's way easier to say it. Like it's easy to say, and eventually actions become easy too. But the first action always isn't the easiest. So that's what I've been consistently supporting others on their journey with, is getting their thoughts right.
That is so important because thoughts drive behavior, behavior, the outcome.
Yep.
So we definitely want to
Yep.
make sure we get this this right. And we tell ourselves so many things that are not true.
Yep.
And that gets us kind of in trouble. And it stops us from growing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
still boxing?
No, so I'll spar from time to time. And I do grappling because I don't like getting hit in the head if I'm not getting paid to do it, and if it's not for competition. So I'm like, oh, I'll go away from that a little bit. So I do the things that keep me young because I'm 43. And Lennox Lewis actually said this best. I really liked how he said it. He said, I'm like a fine wine, I get better with age. And that's what I want to do in my journey, is constantly get better with age, and not have a steady or even a steep decline as I go through my journey.
Right. So it's interesting your transition from, from the ring and now you
Yeah.
coaching business owners and leaders and entrepreneurs, correct?
Yes. Hmm.
And tell me about like what challenges do you face? What challenges have you faced, if any, in that transition?
Yeah. My biggest challenge was I'm a perfectionist, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Um, but I feel like I needed to know all the answers. I had to have it all figured out. I had to put it in place so people could win. And as I played the game more and more, I realized, oh, our actions are inside of us, not just inside of a consultant, not inside of a coach who's asking the questions, not inside of anybody else. It's inside of you. So when you hold that mirror up and you hold it up correctly, it allows people to take actions they never really thought of even taking.
That's so true. So do you have where are you located actually?
I'm Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, okay. Phoenix,
Yeah.
Arizona. Okay. And so, as you go into the business arena,
Hmm.
um, what pain points do you find that business owners fall in, have most trouble with?
So we got three things that we're working with. Um, I like to say life is business and business is life. And I started realizing this the more people I worked with. And so we look at specifics. We want to get the specific right. I got to get the right tactic in place. And it's not necessarily the tactic, it's the way you think around the tactic. And so I go, oh, okay, well, there's three things that we're communicating with. We're communicating with ourselves, we're communicating with others, and we're communicating with our environment. And what I noticed is if you communicate with those three things effectively, you get the result that you're looking for in anything
Hmm.
that you do. If you communicate with those things ineffectively, wrong tactic, wrong strategy, wrong way of looking at things, wrong action, wrong whatever it may be, wrong way of thinking, you're not getting what you want to get. And that can be a little bit frustrating for people.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's a powerful statement. That is
Yeah,
so
thank you.
true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So when you were, you have martial arts background as well, right? And
Hmm.
so I took a little martial arts. I ain't get that far, but because I don't like
Nice.
getting hit either. And I only took it because, to be honest with you, we took our son and we wanted him to learn martial arts, and so we joined the class just to encourage him. But I used to get in the ring and go, "Please don't hit me." So they had you spar with black belts. I go, "Please, don't mess up my face." It was hilarious, but
Yeah.
one of the things that martial arts often teaches, like, is humility, discipline, perseverance. How have those principles influenced through your ability to guide entrepreneurs and executives through their toughest moment?
Yeah. So usually, because you asked a question in the beginning about what's that thing that they need the most help with. The thing that I've noticed every human being needs the most help with is execution. Like literally,
Yeah.
that's it. And what we do is we want to gather so much data, like so much. Like, okay, I need to know all the pieces, and I need the pieces to be perfect before I even attempt to test it. But you have to test it in order to get to the perfect. So even when I say I'm a perfectionist, I know as a perfectionist, you have to test to get it to perfect. So I had one coach who said, perfect practice makes perfect because you can practice whatever you want to practice. And if you're practicing it imperfectly, well, now you're going to have an imperfect habit. And that's not a good thing either. And then you go, well, wait a minute. You said I have to do something to get to perfect, but I have to do it perfectly. So how can I do it perfectly if I'm doing it imperfectly? Do your best. That's it. That's all you got. Do your very best, 100%. So when you do 100% effort, you will get the result. Not right away, but you'll get it when you keep doing it. And we're like, I'll give 100% once I get it right, but that is getting it right, is doing 100% in that moment. That is right.
Yeah, putting your 100%, putting your all into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Consistency brings forth the actual process to be completed. It's the consistency of it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. It's interesting because business can be complicated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It will hit you in so many ways. Like, even my mom's funny and I love my mom. So she goes, what if I don't feel like giving 100%? You give 100%. And
Give
not
a
in
hundred
a,
percent of the
yeah,
not feeling
because,
like giving 100%, right?
yeah, if you're feeling like you're at 50%, you giving 50% is your 100%. And I know everyone tries to make like excuses to why they're doing it in the way. I don't really like just give 100%. If you're 50% is 100% in that moment, well, then give it in that moment and then ask yourself the question, well, why was I at 50? Was I tired? Was I frustrated? Was I thinking about something else? Was my mind somewhere? Did I need more food? Whatever it may be, but give that level of 100%.
I like that because that is so true. Because you're not gonna the realistically, you're not gonna be 100% every day.
No, no.
That's realistically. And so when you like you said, when you're not, you give yourself a chance to actually get to know yourself just that much more because you're questioning something when you wasn't your 100%.
Yes. Every time you see it, you go, okay, what worked? What didn't? Why did it work? Why didn't it work? Feedback loop. And I go, oh, everything comes down to feedback loops. That's why
Yeah.
fighting was so easy. Those are the fastest feedback loops you can get. Punches and kicks coming towards your face. You learn really quick to move out of the way. At least I did. I'm like, I want to just get decked to get decked.
Yeah, I saw you fight. You pretty, you really, I was like, wow, he pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I hate getting hit. See, most people feel like fighters don't always like to get hit. I was one of those fighters. I didn't go, oh, I can't wait to get hit. No, I don't like getting hit.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Like I told you, they used to put me in the ring with black belts. I'm like, no, I'm doing this for my son. Please don't make me look bad and don't mess up my face. And then I'll tell them a joke and make them laugh and they're back off. That was the
Smart.
tactic I used.
That's smart.
I used charm
Yes. Yes.
because that's all I had at that time. I was like, I'm not. I mean, I learned some things, though it's fine, but it just wasn't something that I knew I
I,
wasn't meant to. I knew I wasn't meant to do.
I'll tell you, just getting inside of that, and this is where it gets really interesting, and this is why the thoughts, you can't see it. The emotions, you can't see those. Those are the two most powerful things. The two most powerful things are the two things you can't see.
That is so true.
Yeah. So people see the result and they're like, oh. And then they find whatever excuse or reason. Oh, well, they're super athletic. Or, oh, well, they had this. Oh, they had genetics. Oh, they had the right family. Oh, they had the right whatever they had. And I started looking at it and I go, is this an inner game? Oh, my goodness. Yes, it is. It is 100% inner.
Yeah, because and that's the beauty of coaching is that you find out these things, right? And you want to share with other people because you see the value in the transforming their mind and their thought process. Because I had to go through a transformation in my thought processes when I started business because I don't have the business acumen that most
Yep.
people have at that time. And I was afraid to step out there. Like, what am I gonna, what if this happened? What if that happened? All of these thoughts, right? And then all of these
Mm-hmm.
emotions that come with the thoughts that drag you down, you have to come back and say, wait a minute, what what if it was successful?
Yep.
If you imagine yourself being successful in the business, what would I look like? What would I wear? You imagine these things, right? And you're like, I could do
Yep.
this,
Yep.
but I
Yep.
like the fact that I mean, as I'm coaching and learning from other people, I'm realizing the power of networking
Mm-hmm.
and being able to, you know, if it's something that you're lacking, go get a coach to help you get better in that area.
Yep. Yep. And it's interesting too, like, because what I learned as I was going through this journey, I go, oh crap, everyone wants the result all the time. And coaches who can be really good coaches, if they're not good marketers, gets really, really hard.
Yes.
Because coaching and marketing are two different
They
things.
two
Right?
different things. They two different
Yeah.
things.
So the coach can get the result, But if they can't explain why the result's important, then it doesn't matter. So like, oh, wow, this game is interesting.
It is because it does go hand in hand. I mean,
Yeah,
you need that, you need that, but you can't work them together. But you do need it in your
yeah,
business because how are people going to know about you?
yeah, yeah, 100%,
You could be the
100.
best, but how are they going to know about you?
Yeah.
And that's the toughest part. And
Hmm.
so that's interesting that what type of training did you take to get to the level that you, when it came to the professional side of it, like when it comes to the consulting?
So I am coached by a couple different marketing strategists. I have a subconscious coach as well, and I have a high performance coach. And then um, I am coached by life every single day. And what I mean by that is Myron Golden said something that I absolutely loved. And he talks about how uh, principles, and I'm probably going to butcher this a little bit, but I got the concept behind it. He goes, a principle that applies in one arena applies to every other arena for it to actually be a principle. And
Hmm.
so I took my fighting journey and I compounded it into my business journey. I look at Albert Einstein, he says, um, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Those who get it earn it. Those who don't, I don't remember how that part was put. Those who don't pay it. And so in life, we're always figuring out which side we are on the coin. Are we earning? Are we leveraging effectively? Or are we not where we want to be because we don't know how to effectively leverage on our game?
Right. And we can have a great idea for the business and it not go to its
Oh,
full,
yeah.
to its full term because we didn't birth it right.
Hmm.
And so I had to learn in the world of entrepreneurship that you cannot do this alone. You have to have mentors. You have to have coaches. You have to be open to learning new things because things are always changing.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
the world is, you know, I was once upon a time like I'm not paying anybody. But I
Yeah.
was doing the same thing and getting the same results. And I'm like, okay, now you need to go get some help.
Yeah. And it's like, I think we got to kind of feel that a little bit as we go through our process. Well, it depends on the person. Like, I got quote unquote lucky in certain areas. I think everybody gets lucky in certain areas. And what I mean by that is preparation plus opportunity equals luck.
Right.
And so you can get an opportunity and not even know that you have the opportunity. My opportunity was I was an athlete and I had coaches. So I had coaches early on. So I knew the importance of coaching. And an athlete wouldn't go on the field and play at the highest level without a coach. It just wouldn't happen. So to me, I'm like, yeah, that makes like perfect sense. Yeah, you would get a coach. But when I got into business, I'm like, why is this pattern happening? And I started seeing why the pattern was happening because yeah, everybody thinks they have it figured out until they realize that they don't. I'm gonna have moments where I think I have something figured out, and then I'll quickly realize, like, oh crap, there are pieces that I was missing. Like I missed up here and here. I think the worst time is when you're like, I've got it all figured out. So I do my best not to get into that stage. I just say, you know what? I've figured out this moment. that's that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna live it as fully as I can.
For sure. I went to a seminar this weekend and called Life Surge, and um, Maxwell was there,
Mm,
the famous Maxwell. Anyway,
yep, yep.
he mentioned how one of the things that really that stuck with me, he said, you know, you want to make sure that you have mentors in your life, and you want to make sure that you maximize the relationship
Yep.
and pay and put a lot of time and energy into your personal development,
Hmm. Yep.
because that's what's going to help you continue to grow as a leader. And I
Yep.
was like, that is so true, even though seems simple, right?
Oh yeah, it's all simple. Like I even go as far as saying like our mind is a tricky thing. Because when I say to give 100%, that means to actually give 100%. I almost want to say, and this is my belief system, giving 100% is hard, and this is why. Well, it's harder than we would like it to be. I'm going to say that. It's harder than we would like it to be. Because once we do it, it actually becomes quite easy. Um, but imagine yourself giving 100% in something and then missing the mark. That's kind of a hit on the ego
Yeah, that
to be
is.
like, wow, I did my best. I did my best and it still wasn't enough. But that actually is enough. Like that is enough. Because that's all you can
Right.
do is your best.
And imagine
And
what you can learn.
we're in this place where our mind wants to get it right away. And I go, oh, that's interesting. Adults are hard on each other. They're hard
Yes.
on each other. Kids, like we give kids chances. Oh, they fell over. Oh, they'll be okay. They'll figure it out. Then it's like, don't you have any common sense? Oh, that's so stupid. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And so I just say, it doesn't even matter what people are saying about you. Like, go around the people who are going to support you, who are going to love you up. If someone's breaking you down, great. Now you know something.
Right.
You know, probably shouldn't need to be go around that person anymore. Like, holy crap, or at least not when I'm doing this. When I'm
That is
trying
so
something
true. We
new.
do not give each other grace, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just a reminder of like, look, every time I think of when someone makes a mistake, I think of when I made a mistake too. It's
That's
not to
great.
say like, well,
Yeah.
they've made it 9 times and I only made it once. Like, I've made a mistake. I'm just as human as anybody else. Everyone's doing the best that they can. So boost them up. Give them the opportunity to go after what they want. Go after their dream. A lot of times I ask the question, what's your big dream? And I was shocked. Many people didn't know. Started realizing, oh, people don't get asked that question enough. They don't know it because no one's asking them that. They never think
That's
about it.
true. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of hard. It is hard to talk about your dreams, to have a venue to do that sometimes, because people don't want to hear about you. They want you to hear about them.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
kind of hard. Sometimes it's hard to share that, but it's good when you do have that avenue to be able to talk about the dreams you have, and be encouraged during the time that you are talking about it, because encouragement go a long way. Like I wouldn't
Oh,
be
it's
where I'm at
huge.
today without people encouraging me
Yeah. It's
along the way.
huge. And it can be because a great coach, from what I've learned, a Vince Lombardi, right? They know how to encourage, but they also know how to poke. Both are important. And so if you're poking someone, you're not poking them just to poke them. You actually are looking to get a result.
Right.
And so I go, oh, okay, there's people who really master this game. And mastering the game is mastering the inner game. Once you get that mastered, life starts becoming easy. Easier. I'll say that as well. Because life still happens. Like, yeah, life will
Yeah, it has
continue to
ups
life.
and
That's
downs.
for
I
sure.
know what you mean, though. It does.
Yeah.
It's not as complicated. Yeah,
Yes.
it's not as complicated, because it's just I love it. I love the fact that you approaching this coaching world, because businesses need you. Businesses, definitely entrepreneurs need you. You have a Facebook page. Tell us about your new Facebook page. Your Facebook.
Yeah. So I have It's Fearless Fighter X, and it's just what it sounds like. Fearless. Go strong in what you do. And what I love about fearless is it can mean infinite amount of things, but it means two things to me. Fearless means to go in without fear, and fear less, have less fear. And that can mean even to the high performers, because some of us are such high performers, it's like we can't give anything away because we're so great at what we do. Fear less. Let Ask yourself, what reality do I want? And have I created that reality I want, or have I created a jail cell for myself? And I have been guilty of creating jail cells for myself too. So part of the process.
What is your onboarding process when you take on a
But
client?
yeah, my onboarding is three simple questions. What do you want? What don't you want? What do you love? So once I can figure those things out, then we can play a little bit more from there. But ultimately, once I get that, I have an idea of where you're at and where you want to go. And
Okay.
also what are the roadblocks, challenges, less than ideal, whatever you want to call it. What are those things? And how do we remove those things so that you can step into your greatness?
I like the questions I like those questions that you ask, the three questions. I like those. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you probably go through I know you've heard of the seven whys.
Yep. Hmm.
That's one of my favorite things to do when people are confused about what they want to do.
I love it. I love it.
I love
Yeah.
it because and you have to go through all seven and they want to quit at four. They like, I
Yeah.
can't take it anymore. Nope, we got to finish.
Our brains are they're naturally lazy, which is a good and a bad thing all at the same time. It's actually quite hilarious because I go, oh crap, like there's two sides to everything, the
Yes.
yin and the yang. And so I go, oh, this is all about how we're looking at the situation. And so I ask myself, well, how do I have to look at the situation? Or how do they have to look at the situation to get to the result that they want to get to?
Right. That is so true. And do you take on um all entrepreneurs or do you have like a certain
No. Yeah. So I want people who are growth minded. And what I mean by growth minded, um, they're either big thinkers or they want to be big thinkers. Both I
okay.
can take on. If you're like the middle of the road, like I just want to get by, we're just not going to gel very well together. Like you don't want to work with me. I'm going to drive you nuts, and you're going to drive me nuts. That's
Is
not.
it the fighter in you? You want to bring out the warrior in them.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Like,
can't be mediocre. You can't
well,
me
I said I'm looking
not
to
a
influence 1 billion people, so I'm crazy. I'm nuts as it comes. So I have to find other people who are nuts, and I go like, oh, I'm not so nuts. I just I stretched my brain to want to think really, really big, and I've gone after really, really big things. So my brain would get bored with going after like, oh yeah, just kind of middle of the road. We did enough. We're good. Like, it kind of sickens me even saying it out loud. And I'm not hating on people who want to be in the middle of the road. Much power and love, respect to
right.
them. But I know what I want.
And we get to choose what type of clients we want. That's the awesome part about it is because we get to choose who we want to work with. And
Yep.
I'm so glad that you're authentic about it because it is true. You want to work with someone who it matches what your belief system is, the warrior. You want to bring out
Yep.
the warrior in them, the fight in them, the
Yes.
everything, give it all you have, 100%. It aligns with the language and everything.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
100%. That's warrior language. And so you want that type. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. That matches what you want. So that's
Yes.
the thing. And so what do you find in your personal journey as a coach? What type of pain points do you find yourself in as a coach?
Okay. Um, I do have to leave in like a minute, but
Yeah, okay.
my answer to the question,
Yeah, because we are on time.
I
Okay.
have I have I've hit high highs and low lows, and I will continue to hit high highs and low lows because I want to be courageous. And in order to be courageous, it's go after things that other people haven't gone after. I love that.
Okay.
And then also have empathy, the empathy to get through something and then support others in their getting through it. And so I felt shame, fear, guilt, excitement, joy, love. I've felt all of these emotions. I've had thousands and thousands of people watching me, some loving me up and some judging me like I have had. And I'm cool with all of it. I'm cool with all of it because I know everyone's going at you from what they see, and they're only seeing what they see. And so I come in with my heart fully and I give 100%. And I wouldn't ask anyone to do what I haven't done myself, which is give 100%.
Amen. Well, I truly want to thank you so much, Clifford, for agreeing to come on my show.
Yeah,
And
thank you for having me.
I would love to have you again one day and on a different platform I'll talk to you about offline. But
Okay.
I'm so grateful that you came on. Listeners, if you heard this and you are truly blessed by it, I just say please share, subscribe, and if you felt this was helpful, if you felt like it will help someone else, please share. And we just thank you so much for listening. We always love to talk about your well-being. That's what's important to us. To Our job is to serve and serve others well. So thank you so much, and we are signing off.